How are you? Fine, thank you.
Oh my god!
The Free Island Getaway DLC, aka the Chahaya DLC, is an interesting one. Chahaya, the new city, is Southeast Asian inspired with beautiful visuals, scenic locations, and well-crafted set pieces that ground you in this new world. Overall, as a city, it is a welcomed addition. Yet past the hype of these beautiful locales, there are fragmented, unfinished, and disjointed game mechanics that cut right through the heart of inZOI's first ever DLC. In short, while beautiful, Chahaya lacks substance, with many gameplay mechanics either underutilized or conflicts with base game features. It's important to note as well that while the Free Island Getaway DLC's description implies new gameplay is being introduced through this DLC as it reads here, farming and crafting, farm crops, mine minerals and gemstones for cutting, and catch a wide range of fish across Chahaya and other cities. That bit is not entirely accurate, as there's a standalone update to the base game called Update Version 0.30, which adds all the gameplay listed here without the need of this DLC. If you'd like to learn more on that, please see my previous video where I talk about that more in length. This distinction is important because of the use of the term quote-unquote free DLC. Before we can overview the Free Island Getaway DLC, I need to provide you some context which guides my overall opinion, which is this. Due to Krafton's current stance on DLCs in early access being free with the risk of them being monetized later when they enter full release, I need to play it safe and overview this DLC as a true additional installment worthy of a possible future price tag. Until I can confidently say that this DLC will remain free after full release, that's sort of my mindset here. That said, it appears that the inZOI team may be pivoting away from a DLC-focused development style, now having realized these issues and seeing as new problems arise from having to work on both the base game and DLC content. This article called The Past and Future, Kjun, the lead developer, talks about the Chahaya DLC as a test for their development team. A stress test, if you will, with the only thing really being stressed was my damn patience. Suffice it to say, they realized the difficulties of producing DLC and have recommitted to focusing on the base game, as you should, because, you know, we're still in early access. At the end of the day, DLC should not be focused on or even released during early access development. That goes for any game. I'm sure that pro-consumer sentiment is shared throughout all gaming communities. inZOI Studios, funded by $1 billion publisher Krafton, is no exception. And with all those cards on the table, let's overview the Free Island Getaway DLC. It's important to keep in mind that Chahaya is pitched as a holiday/vacation zone, a place where your ZOIs can get away, aka the DLC name, and to explore this beautifully rendered Southeast Asian city. And I gotta say, having visited family in the Philippines multiple times, this definitely gives those vibes. I understand that the primary inspiration is Indonesian based, but you throw in a jitney or two and it feels like I'm right at home with family. Take nothing away about how well crafted and good looking the environments are. Oftentimes, even now, it feels so surreal to play a life sim game thoughtfully crafted in this setting. Let's talk about how Chahaya is segmented. Chahaya is split into 3 islands: the main island where you can buy a lot and live there, the resort island in which you can pay to stay at a luxury hotel and spa that also features a cat temple, and the 3rd island being a deserted island, which is deserted. You travel to these places by swimming or boating your way across. Now, real quickly, the deserted island is what it says on the tin. It's a pretty lifeless place, a pretty lifeless experience with only urges being the only game mechanic that really propels your ZOIs to even want to visit that place. This island, I imagine, is more for the dollhouse players and people who like to RP stories. Weird, however, that there's a cardboard box here to sleep on. Couldn't be bothered making a leaf bed or something more thematically on brand, I guess. Okay, let's talk about the main island. The moment you step off your flight to Chahaya, you're met with choosing which lot to occupy. This is weird. Again, this DLC is pitched to be a vacation zone, so you'd think there would be gameplay associated to this. For example, a hotel waiting on you for a predetermined amount of days that you paid for, limiting your stay, or even just arriving with your ZOI not tethered to a lot, especially if vacation is sort of the theme of all this. What appears to be happening is that the city in general plays like a stripped down, smaller version of Doan and Bliss Bay. Interestingly, rabbit hole jobs are offered via smartphone. Also, in certain shop interiors, there are work-related clothing racks. These clothing racks are what inZOI's use to trigger the active career for any given job. So clearly there's an idea that active careers may come to this DLC. On that note, many rabbit hole jobs don't feel complete, like a disjointed amount of days you can work, which makes gaining promotions and earning money the typical way a real chore. But also, if you look at the farming and mining jobs in Chahaya, while offering 7 work days a week, the pay is really low with no advancement or even produce and/or ores being bonus rewards. There's simply no reason to be taking on these jobs. Now, on the topic of which lots are available, the selection seems to be nudging you to buy massive plots of land to make use of the new farming gameplay. The thing is, farming is such a massive drudging pain. Do keep in mind that your interaction capacity is maxed at 8, and if you have any intention to farm seriously in this game, there's so much interaction spam you need to get through, your mouse will be begging for mercy. To give you an idea, for every single farm plot, which can be bought in build mode, you have to till, plant, water, and your choice to fertilize the soil or not. That's potentially 3 to 4 interactions for one plot. Now, because produce is so remarkably inefficient to sell, the price ranging from 7 to 45 should you sell it at a market stall, you're incentivized to grow large batches. Now, selling at a market stall is its own personal menu hell. You have to select each item individually from your inventory and place it on the stall, each with a separate price. When growing these crops, imagine waiting 3 days, plucking the weeds that will eventually grow, and then thankfully having a scarecrow interactable that allows you to harvest in a radius just to annoyingly fill up your inventory capacity, and then realizing you have to sell each burdensome produce item by item. The true crime here is if you want to sell these items in build mode for a quick buck, you'd have to click to hold each item in your hand at a time, place it on the ground, then go to build mode, then sell it. This menu clutter extends to mining, fishing, and even crafting. Somebody, please send help. The thing is, despite these residential lots giving that Stardew Valley, Coral Island, insert your favorite life sim farming game here vibe, it's only there at surface level. It's almost like every life sim farming game / crafting game figured out that you need to get the controls and inventory management down and smoothed out before even attempting this kind of gameplay. In this instance, inZOI really puts the cart before the horse. Truthfully, all of this is odd to me because compared to Dongwon and Bliss Bay, there's many more mining nodes, branches, and fishing sites scattered throughout Chahaya, hence they want you to explore. But what's missing is inventory accessibility, storage capacity, quests or ranking systems, unique NPCs, emergent events, or fun rewards that encourage an addicting gameplay loop, or sharp and fluent movement to inZOI's and their vehicles as to encourage that open world exploration. Should you get past all of that, unfortunately, you'll see that the world is hollow as gameplay reasons to visit these new attractions fall flat. To wrap things up on the main island, you'll see locations similar to that of the other cities, such as storefronts, cafes, a yoga center, and some DJ locations. The most interesting addition to the main island is the central market. While there's plenty of foot traffic here to make holding a market stall a primary location, all of it feels bland. Actually selling things from the market stall isn't fun in itself. It's not motivated by skills, mood, or any other status effect. Aside from a rotation of animations, most of which appears to have random success, and aside from moments of bartering, that's pretty much it. Well, there was this one time where I walked away from the stall to grab some food, then a cop came by and stole money from my donation jar. Thankfully, the cop waited patiently for me to approach her, then I attacked the cop, forcing her to give back my money. 10 out of 10. Unfortunately, wouldn't see anything as fun as that again. Alright, so onto some highlights. You can rent a boat here. Also, I know the ocean looks booty and super pixelated. I have no idea what's happening here. I fiddled with the settings, but no dice. I have an AMD card, and from my experience, inZOI just doesn't play well with Team Red. For reference, I have a 7900 XTX, and yeah, I don't know. It looks ugly, I couldn't figure it out. But aside from that, you can take pictures of turtles on the beach. There are plenty of areas and alleys to make your way through by motorbike. There's plenty of spots to fish and snorkel. Snorkeling was cool, you know, just to see the sights and all that, but you can't move freely as snorkeling is a predetermined animation. If you snorkel in POIs, aka points of interest, you have a chance of collecting shells and stuff, so that's cool. You can also dig in sand for some trinkets and collectibles. Truthfully, you do this, a handful of times and you've pretty much seen it all. Again, when you lack reasons to go here with rewards that are pretty half-measured, it makes these open world opportunities fall flat to the bottom of the sea. Alright, so let's talk about the resort island. From the resort island, we can rent a room at different prices and in different luxury areas. These rooms and locations are well beautified. You've got rooms you can rent by the pier and or on the grounds proper. The rooms are expectedly expensive when you consider their different variations, and honestly, aside from being pretty, it's kind of dull here. Despite its cost, there's just no real reason to rent out this place, especially when you can use the facilities independently, like the arcade center, the spa, the pools, the robo-turtle races, all while never needing a room. Remember, your ZOI must be tied to a lot, so there's very little reason to use any of these facilities other than to say that you have. Truthfully, this feels more aligned with the Dollhouse RP side of things. On a side note, the spa interactions for massages and foot rubs and just the general use of the spa is pretty fast and uninspired. Literally just click on a thing, wait 2 seconds for an animation to run, and you're done. You've spa'd. There is an interesting treasure hunt that you can participate in. You're encouraged to scan the island for these crates that have gold bars in them. Once you collect 10 of them, you could turn them in for a prize. At least, I think that's the case. I did it, and I didn't receive anything, at least not that I could tell from my inventory. Again, this feels unfinished, and like all of these activities, you do them once and you're pretty much over it. Another notable location is the cat temple. You can see temples and cats there, and look, I love cats. I'm big on cats, I'm a big cat guy, but I don't know, I mean, it's whatevs, I guess. You can pray to a cat god and get like a charm and stuff, and you can pet some of the cats that are there, which is nice. And that's pretty much the entire DLC. It's moments like these that I question why this couldn't just be updated into the base game. Like, what even is the monetary reason for separating this when it's so devoid of gameplay? Like, don't get me wrong, it's beautiful, but aside from some filler interactions and activities, what's a compelling reason to have this as a separate vacation-like DLC? Mind you, all the gameplay stuff is updated to the base game, so all that's really here is just a new map, which is fine if this DLC is forever free even after early access. Because an unfinished early access DLC for an early access game, like, that's weird, right? Truth be told, I'm more excited that this Chahaya DLC fiasco is over and done with, at least for the most part. Now the dev team can work on improving the base game and refining basic gameplay, as is the hope for any early access game. At least, I hope so. If you like this video, thank you. Please share your appreciation the best way you know how. And I want to thank you all so much for watching. I do appreciate that. And I appreciate you. And I hope to see you in the next video, whatever it may be. So until then, I will see you then. Bye for now.